Alexander Bedward, the Flying Preacher. Jamaicans are known to be a set of people who traditionally use songs to convey their emotions. If they are happy, the Jamaican will sing. If they are sad, they will select a hymn to find comfort. The reality is, Jamaicans just like music. So therefore, it was quite fitting that during the earthquake in 1907, many Jamaicans sang songs to gain comfort. Many of those who sang were converts of Alexander Bedward. Alexander Bedward, a Jamaican healer, led the Jamaican Baptist Free Church. He was an ordinary Jamaican who was a tinsmith and his wife was a baker. However, there are reports that Bedward spent time working in the Panama Canal. He found this experience to be a traumatizing one. The experience may have changed his life. This period in Bedward's life was a time that he and his countrymen and women were marred by injustices in the society. Bedward viewed the government during this period as being oppressive. On his return to Jamaica, he would produce some of the most powerful messages of hope to the Jamaican people. This message was unsettling for many whites who believed that Bedward's message could incite unrest. The story of Bedward is really fascinating. Bedward was a self-educated individual who was able to impose his influence on many Jamaicans and others across the Caribbean. His followers claimed that he could perform miraculous healings and provide spiritual blessings to the followers. For example, people unable to walk were healed. He also had a practice of selling water from the Hope River. He claimed that by blessing the water, it would have healing properties. Based on his claim, Bedward was arrested for misleading the public. The case against him was not successful. Bedward was released and thereafter the followers of Bedward increased tremendously. Historical documents suggest that Bedward had thousands of followers. He had mass baptismal services that were held by the Hope River. During these ceremonies, the congregation would hail Bedward as the prophet. As a boy, I could remember the words of a song dedicated to Bedward. It goes like this: "Dip them, Bedward, dip them in the healing stream. Dip them," and it goes on. Bedward's morning service was one of the week's high point. On Sunday, people would travel across Jamaica. However, it should be noted that many people decided that they would start to assemble on Saturday night to ensure they got a good space. And of course, all attendees would have prepared their food to sustain them during this period of time. One historian highlighted that by the time the service started, all points of the riverbank would have been populated by Bedward's followers. Those with a view to see Bedward would see him in his armchair all dressed in white. Bedward prophesied that there would be an ascension that would take place one morning. After the time had passed, he revised the time. As time passed on, he sat in his chair. Many of his followers could not understand why the ascension had not taken place. The authorities used this unfortunate event to label Bedward as a person of unsound mind. Subsequently, he was placed in a mental institution, otherwise called asylum back in those days. Bedward would spend the last 9 years there until his death. History records him dying in his cell of natural causes. I would like to state that as we examine history, we should be critical of the storytellers. One researcher who was able to track down followers of Bedward stated that the accounts about Bedward's insanity were not true and were designed by white individuals to discredit Bedward. Although many may question Bedward's sanity, I would say that Bedward created a movement for racial awareness that soon found connections to Marcus Garvey's movement. You decide. I welcome you to explore additional information regarding Bedward's movement in Jamaica.